SCY, Sandals Church Youth, we have made it. We are in the final week of our series, Love Letters, going through the books of 1st, 2nd, and 3rd John. Today we are reading 3rd John, another very short chapter. 15 verses to some friends of John, a church that he's writing to. And I hope that this series, these books that we've been going through have been able to be helpful for you. I hope that this series has given you an example of what it means to read the Bible, to ask questions around what we're reading, and how to apply that personally. We've been using the R.E.A.L Bible study method. A little flashback for you. R.E.A.L stands for read the passage carefully. E, extract the main point. A, apply it to your life. L, live it out. Just a very simple practice to use when you're reading to kind of help get the main idea out of what you're reading and finding ways to live out what the Bible is teaching us. I believe that everything we read in the Bible has some lesson or message for us to take in, to apply to our lives, and to live out to other people around us. We also had some time from Pastor Fredo where he explained Lectio Divina, a reading practice that he uses. Very similar, taking out smaller chunks of the passages and reading them carefully, applying those to your life. So without further ado, let's jump into John 3, verse 1. The elder to the beloved Gaius, whom I love in truth. Beloved, I pray that all may go well with you and that you may be in good health as it goes well with your soul. For I rejoiced greatly when the brothers came and testified to your truth, as indeed you are walking in the truth. I have no greater joy than to hear that my children are walking in the truth. When I first read this, one of the big things that I took out of it, again, it's a greeting, very simple, very hello, how you doing? But I did notice that in verse 2, he says, Beloved, I pray that all may go well with you and that you may be in good health. Just a great reminder that we should be praying for our friends. We should be praying for our brothers and sisters in faith. And also a reminder that you as a student, whether you're watching online or at a campus, your youth leads are praying for you. Your parents are praying for you if you have parents that are believers. Your spiritual family is praying for you. The importance of praying over the peace and protection and good health of our friends, our brothers and sisters, our peers is so vital to our life as Christians. That's the whole point of being in this family of Jesus, is knowing that we have people to take care of us, that are thinking about us and praying for us, that we may be healthy and in good spirits. Moving on to verse 5. Beloved, it is a faithful thing you do in all your efforts for these brothers, strangers as they are, who testified to your love before the church. You will do well to send them out on their journey in a manner worthy of God. For they have gone out for the sake of the name, accepting nothing from Gentiles. Therefore, we ought to support people like these, that we may be fellow workers for the truth. John's simply just giving giving his readers praises for the work that they're doing, that the work that they're doing in their church to care for others, to care for people that have never been in the church before, to care for the people that have been to the church and now are leaving. John is giving them the praise for that. In verse 9, he continues, I have written something to the church, but Diotrephes, I hope I pronounced that right, who likes to put himself first, does not acknowledge our authority. So if I come, I will bring up what he is doing, talking wicked nonsense against us, and not content with that, he refuses to welcome the brothers, and also stops those who want to, and puts them out of the church. Beloved, do not imitate evil, but imitate good. Whoever does good is from God. Whoever does evil has not seen God. Demetrius has received a good testimony from everyone and from the truth itself. We also add our testimony, and you know that our testimony is true. John real quick goes from praise to calling out a believer. This can be I feel uncomfortable reading this of like, yo, this guy just got called out. And this is thousands of years later after this is written. But this is part of what it means to be in the church. I know seems a little bit intense, but John is calling this man out to help him grow and see like, hey, what you're doing is wrong. And as believers, as followers of Jesus, we need to do differently. John then closes in verse 13, I have much to write to you, but I'd rather not write with pen and ink. I hope to see you soon, and we will talk face to face. Peace be to you. The friends greet you. Greet the friends, every one of them. So again, a very kind of standard John letter. If you've been following us with these last 7 weeks, it follows the same format, a greeting, something he really wants to share that he finds important, and then I will see you soon. The reason these letters at this time are so important is it took a lot more to send a letter to different places in the ancient world. There's no email, there's no cars, no trucks, no planes. These things take a lot of time to get there. So if you're sending a letter, you have something to say. So let's move to that E, extract the main point. I think this is a warning from John, a warning from him to his younger believers and siblings in the faith to be aware of how we are carrying ourselves as Christians. In verse 7, in verse 5, beloved, it is a faithful thing you do in all of your efforts for these brothers, strangers as they are, who testify to your love before the church. He's giving praise, saying, hey, this is a good thing. You are doing a good job here. And then in verse 10, so if I come, I'll bring up what he is doing, talking about Diotrephes, what he is doing, talking wicked nonsense against us. And not content with that, he refuses to welcome the brothers and also stops those who want to and puts them out of the church. Gives a praise, main point. Our follow-up to that main point is be aware of how you are treating other people. This can very quickly move into the apply it personally. Of course, I would love to resonate with verses 5 through 8 and be like, yeah, I'm doing a great job. I'm bringing people in, yada, yada, yada. And at some points, I think I do. One of the sins that can creep into our lives is thinking we will not be like Diotrephes. I know in my personal faith walk, there have been times where I'm like, I'm killing it. I'm doing a great job. God loves me so much because I'm doing a great job. And in that, I end up pushing people out of the church and pushing people away from wanting to experience what Jesus is offering them because of how I'm carrying myself. I can be quick to judge. I can be quick to look down on someone for the things they believe, especially if they don't know Jesus. And I think that's what John is getting at, is be aware of that sin in your life. No matter how long you've been in the church, we are all susceptible of falling into that. And rebuke that. Turn away from that. Turn back to Jesus and be welcoming to those people that want to come into this space and experience Jesus. So L, live it out. One of the biggest, kind of in the same of applying, how am I being aware of the sin that is not huge sin in my life? One of the things I'm reflecting on as I read this and was getting ready to teach is like, okay, what sin do I still have in my life that is not a big sin? It's not, watching porn or doing the things I'm not supposed to be doing or cheating on, my wife and stuff like that. Those are not the big sins I deal with, but there are still little sins in my life that can cause me to end up being Diotrephes. I really hope I'm pronouncing that right. Anyway, so where are those little sins in my life? And as I'm reflecting on those, am I being short with people? Am I letting my emotions dictate how I treat people for the day? Am I being selfish with my time? I mean, I even though I work at a church, I'm still very busy, and at the end of the day, I can be very selfish if I need McKay time, when in reality, I need to be spending time with my wife and spending time with my son Zion and allowing myself to sacrifice what is comfortable for me for the betterment of my family and my friends around me. So those are some things I'm reflecting on out of this passage. Again, this is only 15 verses, so it's very easy to read through this real quick and be like, oh, all right, moving on. I don't know what else to tell you. But as you take time in this, and as you honestly reflect on the entire Love Letter series, take those moments to think through, okay, if you have been a Christian for a long time, if you have been reading, this is not a new practice, and you're learning how, and you are comfortable with this, where are those little sins? Where is a little bit of pride or arrogance creeping into your life that doesn't seem like a big deal now, but can become a bigger deal? Sometimes when you've grown up in the church and you have seen, how to read the Bible, that sin of pride, that sin of arrogance can creep in of like, oh, I already know how to do this. Let me teach you how to read the Bible, which is fine. I'm all for discipleship and helping your friends learn what it means to follow Jesus. But discipleship with the wrong heart is going to lead you into sin. It's going to lead you into the same position that Diotrephes was in, of putting him, talking nonsense against John and his disciples. He refuses to welcome the brothers and also stops those who want to and puts them out of the church. It's very easy to fall into these situations. And like John is saying in the beginning, I'm praying that you guys don't. I'm praying for you that you may go well with you and that you may be in good health and that it goes well with your soul. Verse 2. Those are my prayers for you. Now, if this is your first time reading the Bible, if this is your first time experiencing what it means to read, don't stop here. As you reflect on these last 7 weeks, think through how can you challenge yourself to continue to read? How can you challenge yourself to continue to dive into God's Word and make this real Bible reading method a practice of your everyday life? If that's something you need help with, I'm more than willing to help you with that. You can email me, you can text message me. Both of those are in the description below. Or if you're at a campus, you can talk to your online youth, or not your youth lead. You can talk to your youth lead and they can help you there. Yeah, don't just stop here. Don't just stop at the end of love letters and be like, okay, I did my 7 weeks. I've read the Bible. I've read these passages. I've read several books now. Take that next step. Invite someone into your life to say, hey, I want to continue to do this. Can you help keep me on track of this? Invite a friend. If you're afraid of inviting a youth lead or someone older, invite a friend. Say, hey, let's start a Bible reading plan together. The Bible app has a lot of plans that make it very easy. It'll even read it to you if you're not a reader and you need someone to, like an audiobook type of thing. There's a lot of resources out there. So as you're reflecting on this time, think through those active steps you can take to continue on in your faith, to continue to read and continue to grow into who God is calling you to be. And that's all I got. This has been Love Letters. I love you guys. I'm praying for you. We'll see you next week.